Hello everyone, and welcome back to another speed building video. Make sure you grab yourself a drink, a snack, a blanket, get comfy, and let's get into it. So in today's speed building video, I'm going to be building in the world of Copperdale, which is the world we got from the high school years expansion pack. And this is actually the first ever build that I've done in this world, which, I mean, would be surprising if I had the pack for a long time, but I only recently got it. I did this build not too long after I got the pack. I'm just kind of uploading it a little bit later because there were some other builds that I wanted to share with you guys first, but I figured it's about time that I share this build because I am quite happy with it and I like the storyline that I have planned for it, and yeah, I'm just kind of excited to share it. And also, this world is absolutely gorgeous. Like, the Sims team really knew what they were doing when they made this world. It's just so lush and green, and all of like the water around it. Like, this lot specifically, it's right near the like the town harbor, kind of. I don't know if harbor is what you would call it, but that area where it's got like the Ferris wheel and stuff. If you have the pack, you'll know, but if not, there's this little section on the map where there's like this big Ferris wheel and like a couple of different rides, and like just kind of like a hangout for your teens or just Sims in general to go and just hang out and enjoy the city. I feel like harbor isn't the correct term, but I can't think of what else it would be called, so that's just what I'm going with. But yeah, it's just like a little area for your Sims to hang out, but you can actually walk to it from this lot. This lot is very close to it, even though it looks like it's pretty deep in nature and like surrounded by lush, rich forest, which I mean it is, but it's not too far from like civilization or anything. But yeah, I just think this lot is so beautiful. But I did end up following a reference for this build, which I will go ahead and put up on the screen now so that you can, you know, see what I was referencing as I was building this. I think I took some creative liberties, more so on like the sides and the back of the house, because, you know, I didn't really know what that looked like based off of the reference picture. Like, I only really had the front to work off of. But I'm pretty happy with how this came out. I really like the color scheme. It's like this blue and red color scheme, which is not something I tend to go for on the exterior of houses, or at least not something I've ever really tried before. So I think that was super fun to kind of test out. And I think that's honestly why I was drawn to the reference photo in the first place, is just like the color scheme of it. It just looked really appealing. And I was also really just wanting to build like a teenager's room, since I had just purchased the high school years expansion pack, and I kind of wanted to explore all the different items that came with that and play around with like the clutter and the posters and all of the different types of items that I've been seeing. High school years came out maybe, I want to say like a year ago, maybe a little bit longer or a little bit earlier, but I only recently got it like a month or so ago when it went on sale, because it finally went on sale for like 50% off or something. I was waiting forever for it to go on like the proper half off sale, because the cost of these packs is like absurd. No, I can't afford it really, so I have to wait for them to go on sale. And when they do, it's always a good day. But I mean, when it's a newer expansion pack, even if all the packs are on sale, that the new one will only tend to be like 25% off or like 40% off. They really make you wait for it. But I guess it just feels even nicer to have the pack when you've waited so long. So I'm definitely late to the game, but I enjoyed using the pack regardless. Yeah, I just think there's like a lot of really nice items in this pack, and I think like all of the different beds that we got and all the different posters are some of my favorite things, and also like the computers and the chairs. I could just feel like it's very accurate to, you know, the kind of things that like teens have nowadays, I guess. So I did really enjoy that, which I mean, I guess was their objective in the end. But yeah, I'm just super happy with all the items in this pack, and I had so much fun decorating with said items in this house. And I really like how I decorated the interior of this home. It's just a very well-loved, like well-lived-in family home. Like, it's a bit cluttered, and it's just, yeah, it's just like a classic family home in the world of Copperdale. So I do have a storyline, and I did make it while I was building this house. However, as I mentioned, I built this house a little while ago because Well, I just built it a little while ago, but I hadn't shared it yet because I wanted to share some other builds first. So I'm gonna try and explain the storyline. However, I may get some of the details wrong, or it may not be as in depth as it would have been if I did the voiceover like right after doing the build, I guess. So I'm gonna try and explain the storyline, and hopefully it will be interesting with whatever, you know, ideas I can conjure up or try and remember from when I was building this. But I think I'll explain what I can now, and then when it comes to doing the interior, if that kind of sparks anything, then I will, you know, let you guys know what else I was thinking as I was building this. But essentially, this house ends up having 4 Sims. So we have a teenage daughter, a dad, a mom, and her son. So I'm thinking that this is a bit of a mixed household. So I'm thinking that the mom and her son are, you know, related, and then there's the dad and his daughter, and so like the 2 parents got remarried, and they each had a kid from their previous relationship. And I was thinking that the teen daughter is very much in the like clean girl aesthetic kind of vibe, and I think that she wants to be like a simfluencer is what it's called in the game, or like in real life an influencer. So I think she has like a YouTube channel, and like she's really active on Instagram and things like that. So I really tried to communicate that through her bedroom and stuff. So yeah, I was envisioning like she's definitely like a popular girl. I think she's still pretty sweet. She might have her, you know, off moments, but I think that she's a pretty nice sim, and she's just very much like clean girl aesthetic and wants to be like an influencer and like have a lot of friends and things like that. And I was imagining that maybe her and her stepmom don't get along too well. I think her stepmom I feel like maybe the stepmom and the husband haven't been together for too long just yet, and maybe she's kind of overstepping her bounds a little bit in terms of like trying to parent the daughter, even though it's not her daughter, if that makes sense. But yeah, so I was thinking there's a little bit of tension there, and kind of like they don't get along too well because they each have different ideas of what, you know, like each sim is allowed to do, I guess. Like the stepmom feels like she has say over how the daughter acts and like what the daughter can do and whatnot, but the daughter feels like that's not very valid because it's not her birth mom, and I think she's still pretty close with her birth mom. I was imagining that her birth mom is a very wealthy woman. I think she lives in the world of San Myshuno in like a big penthouse or something, or has like a mansion in some kind of world. I'm not sure, maybe like Oasis Springs or something. I'm picturing like a modern mansion, but I think she's like a really wealthy CEO kind of person, or maybe in like the politics career, and maybe just didn't have enough time to like focus on her family, or wasn't really in love with her husband anymore. Kind of, I don't know, whatever the reason was for her parents splitting up. Her mom is very wealthy and kind of lives in the city, and I was thinking that the daughter had to move in with her dad and her stepmom and her stepbrother for the fall, because she's starting high school, or she's already in high school and maybe has just transferred to this school. But pretty much she has to come live with her dad, and that's not really how she had envisioned her fall going. I kind of see her like moving from a private school in the city to like this more suburban high school, like small town kind of high school, like maybe transferring halfway through her high school years. I don't really see her being a freshman, but maybe she is. She just kind of, I feel like I've already created the sim, so I feel like she's a little bit more of a senior, or like a sophomore, grade 11. I don't know. I just go by the grades. So I think she's maybe grade 11 kind of thing, or grade 12, and she had to switch for like her last year, which would absolutely suck. My sympathies to her. But that was kind of my thinking, is that she had to move in with her dad for this high school, and she stays with her mom in the summer. And so in this like small town, she doesn't really have many friends, which is why I think she's kind of like big into influencing, because she kind of moves around a lot, and she's never really had too much of a concrete group of friends because she's had to move or like spend her years in different places because her parents are split up. So like influencing just, she's got friends online and stuff, I guess. So that was kind of my thinking for that. And I really do like that storyline because I feel like I'm envisioning her being maybe slightly rebellious. I think she's just a bit more outspoken towards like her stepmom or her dad when it comes to like her rights, I guess, as like a teenager. Or just, I feel like she feels like she's being a bit suffocated in the house, and I feel like she kind of makes that known, which is, props to her, healthy communication. But that was kind of my thinking for her. And yeah, for that plot in the high school years expansion pack, we were given this window where your Sims can actually climb out of it, which is, first off, so cool, and second off, a really nice window. I just love how it looks. And third of all, it works like really well for the storyline because I put those windows in her room, and then she can kind of like escape through the balcony and down the trellis and whatnot, which I thought was super perfect given like, I guess, the more rebellious approach she takes. But yeah, so that's kind of the storyline that I had in mind for the daughter. And then when it comes to the father, I was thinking that, well, I actually can't quite remember what I thought his career would be. I don't know if I thought about it too much. Maybe I'll know when we move on to the inside, but I think that he hasn't always been too close with his daughter. I think his daughter's closer with his ex-wife, and now he's trying to like get them to be a bit more connected now that he has the chance to like live with her and interact with her over the fall while she's at school in Copperdale. But I think that the stepmom, I think maybe I made her an artist. I feel like that's kind of where I was going with that. Once again, I think I'll just have to wait for the furnishing on the inside to really know. But I think she was going to be an artist or something. And maybe the dad's like a stay-at-home dad. But that doesn't make too much sense because his son, or I guess his stepson, is in elementary school, so he's not even home throughout the days. So I'm not entirely sure, but we'll just wait and see, and then I can give you a little bit more background. But yeah, I think that the stepmom and the daughter don't get along too well, but I think that the daughter and her stepbrother, I think that they're pretty close. Like she thinks he's such a sweet boy, and like she really cares for him and wants to like the best for him, even though they're not like full siblings or anything. Well, actually, I couldn't decide, or I guess I can't remember if the idea was that the son is like her stepbrother or just like her brother from a different marriage. Like, I don't know if they have any of the same parents or only have the same dad, is what I'm trying to say. Like, I don't know if it's like both the children are from previous relationships or if it's just the daughter and the son is from, the daughter's dad and her stepmom. But I think I had envisioned that they were from like two separate relationships and they're kind of like merged families. But yeah, I think that the daughter and the brother are, best of buds. Like, obviously there's like a big age gap, but she likes to look out for him and like help him with his homework or like encourage him to like meet new friends or try new activities and just kind of, get out of his shell. I think that the son is a bit of like an introvert, and I think he's a very intelligent kind of kid. And I was thinking that they're big into space. I'm pretty sure that's how I decorated their room, but big into space and like science and stuff. And they get really good grades and they're very strong in that department, but maybe don't have too many friends because maybe they don't feel the most comfortable doing all of that. So yeah, I was just thinking that maybe his older sister is kind of like his best friend sort of thing, which I think is actually a super cute storyline, especially since they're like not obliged, or I think obliged is the wrong word, obligated to be, siblings or friends because they're not actually related. So I just thought that was a super cute storyline to include. But yeah, now you can see that I have finished with the exterior of the house. I didn't end up cutting out a couple of different things, nothing too major, like it was maybe just like a bit of terrain painting or fiddling with like items that I put on the porch or some of the window swatches and things like that, just because it ended up being very redundant and honestly very boring to watch. Like I was doing the voiceover and I was looking at it and couldn't believe that I had been talking for like 5 minutes but was still fiddling around with window swatches. So I decided to cut out some things like that and some of the backyard furnishing as well, because, you know, same kind of thing, like there's a lot of indecision and it was very boring to watch. And so yeah, I think I was definitely a bit rusty when it came to this build. I was still kind of getting back into the swing of it after like my very long hiatus, so a lot of this took me an embarrassing amount of time, also because I was just kind of fiddling around with some of the new objects and really couldn't decide what I wanted to use since I had so many options. So I actually did a couple of different versions of like the living room and the daughter's room and just kind of, you know, tested out a bunch of those different things and ended up deleting all those recordings and then starting fresh because I just could not for the life of me make some decisions, which I mean, it's not a new thing for me, but it was definitely extreme when it came to this build. So I did you all a favor and cut out, and you would not have wanted to watch them. So you can see that I finished with the entranceway, which I was super happy with because I thought it was so cute that I put this little desk in the corner by the stairwell, and then I put a little computer on it because I'm thinking it's like the family computer. I don't imagine them to be a very high-tech family. Like it's a pretty like cozy middle class kind of home, I guess. Honestly, a little bit above middle class, at least compared to what my idea of middle class is, but I just don't think that they really care to have all the latest technology and stuff. I don't think the parents are like that. And so like we've got this little box TV here, and then I gave them like the really boxy computer from base game, and then I just put like a little coat rack and stuff in there and just like a whole bunch of clutter, and I just felt like that was a very nice and warm and cozy entranceway that felt very family-esque. So I was super happy with how that came out. And I really like how the interior of this house came out. I think the color scheme is really beautiful. I really tried to mix like a lot of this mustard yellow with this viridian, which is like a deep blue green, and some dark red as well. And I just think that all of those together just make it feel super cozy and like homey, I guess. And I did not shy away from any clutter because why would I ever do a build without clutter? That's just not very fun. So I decided to just go all out with the clutter as I usually do, just to push that family feel. And yeah, you can kind of see that in the living room right now as I've just picked out some debug items and I'm going around and decorating the side tables. Or I guess now I kind of moved on from the side tables and I'm now working on this little shelving unit that we got from Laundry Day that has like these pillows and these little baskets and some random like jars and tins and things like that. And I put it behind the couch to kind of look like a bit of a room divider between the couch and the hallway that leads you into the laundry room and the kitchen and things like that. And I was just envisioning that like the Sims will stand there and fold their laundry while they watch TV, and I thought that that was a super cute idea because the laundry room's right there, and it in real life it would be such a nice like flow of the house the way that I've set it up, and I feel like that really helped make it feel cozy because it kind of feels accurate to real life. And so I just put a couple of different decor items on there. I have some like loose clothes and like a hamper which we got from high school years, along with like this cheerleading megaphone kind of thing, because I failed to mention this, but the daughter of this household is actually a cheerleader at our school, and I'm thinking maybe she's like head of the cheerleading team. Like that kind of, to me, that's kind of what she's giving. So yeah, I was imagining that that's like her cheerleading thing, and maybe she just threw it on there when she came in the door or something. And then I also put a bunch of different little like kids toys and things like that to make reference to the little kid in this household. What else did I put out there? Just like, you know, a bunch of different clutter items, pretty much whatever I could find that felt kind of homey, and, you know, just splayed it around. I used the couch, which is from Cats and Dogs. The chair that looks like it has like the blanket draped over it with the little pillow is from Horse Ranch, and honestly this is one of my favorite living chairs that we have got in this game. I just think it's so cute, and I feel like also very realistic. because I don't know if any of you own pets or know people who own pets, but in my experience, a lot of people tend to put like towels or blankets on their furniture so that like their pets can sit up there without kind of damaging the upholstery. And so that's kind of what that chair reminded me of. It just felt like a very family-esque chair, and I was envisioning that this house does have a dog. I'm thinking like a tiny little dog, well, not too tiny. I'm thinking like medium size and probably like curly hair, kind of like a doodle sort of dog. So yeah, I just felt like the blanket on the chair would be like really cute kind of touch to maybe imply that there is in fact a like a dog in this house. And then I believe the other chair I use is from Cottage Living, just like this yellow kind of plush one. And then what I've put the TV on, like that little hutch there, is from Cottage Living as well. And yeah, I think that sums up like the main items. I think I used some Horse Ranch side tables, and like I said, that little table behind the couch is from Laundry Day. And aside from that, the other things are kind of base game. Oh, I used like this Seasons lamp. You can see now that I'm going in and setting up that little doggy area in this corner, which I felt was just perfect for the dog bed. So I put a couple of toys, the dog bed, and these plants on the wall just to kind of give it a little bit more interest in that corner. But that kind of completes the living room, and now I have moved on into the kitchen. So I ended up using these base game counters, which are my beloved, my favorite counters of all time, and my favorite ever swatch of all time. I just think these base game counters are unbeatable. We have a couple of different counters from various expansion packs now, and I always seem to come back to these base game ones, which is surprising because I'm pretty sure these have been in the game since like The Sims 4 ever launched. Like the very first time it ever launched, these were in the game. And so to still come back to them is honestly impressive. Well done, Sims team, because I feel like a lot of the very beginning base game items I could care less about because they're honestly ugly and outdated now. But with these counters, that does not apply to them. They're just perfect and I love them. So I decided to use those, and then in combination with that, I used this Cottage Living dining table paired with these chairs that we got from Cats and Dogs and this yellow swatch, which kind of matches the legs of the dining room table if I'm remembering correctly. This isn't the only dining room table. I do have a proper dining room, or an official dining room, I guess. This is more of like the little breakfast table, the breakfast nook. I imagine like the parents drink their coffee here, and like the Sims eat their pancakes in the morning here, like the younger kids. And I felt like that was a cute idea. And I just put it off in the corner, like by the window, so you can have some beautiful morning views while you drink your coffee, which I just think this kitchen is so cute and cozy. It's very, it's a bit small and cluttered, but I feel like that's what makes it so cozy and cute. And honestly, if this was my kitchen, I would be one happy girl. Once again, I'm jealous of my Sims and the houses they inhabit, but you know, what can I say? Maybe one day I will have a house like this. But yeah, so I'm just going around and cluttering up the kitchen now. I used some of these base game paintings leaned against the wall, and I've kind of picked out some clutter items, but I have yet to actually assemble them. And yeah, you will see like when I spin the camera around that there's actually like this little coffee nook that I didn't include the footage of because I did some play testing. Turns out it doesn't work. So I end up having to switch that into some counters so that it's actually like a functional setup. But I think it looks really cute. So honestly, I might just upload it as is. And if you guys want the coffee pot to actually be usable, like you'll have to put it to a different like countertop, or just turn the Horse Ranch side tables, which is what I have it resting on, like into a proper counter. And so then I just threw around like my standard clutter that I kind of put into family homes. I have a couple of different mugs, like a pot that maybe looks like there's some leftovers in there that the Sims have been reheating, maybe some leftover soup or pasta, something like that. And, you know, like utensils and that whole kind of variety. And then the fridge and the stove are also base game. I'm trying to think of what else that I might have included in there, but I think that's kind of it for the clutter. There wasn't too much. I think if I remember correctly, I don't think I left a countertop fully empty. Oh, I'm mistaken. I did. So no worries. This should be functional because there is an empty countertop. And I also put a microwave in there. So there's a coffee pot, a microwave, you know, a sink, things like that. So it's a pretty well-rounded kitchen. But again, if you do want the coffee pot to actually work, you're gonna have to put it on like a legit countertop. But if you like just the decoration of it, like you can just leave it like that. Because honestly, sometimes I find coffee pots very annoying in The Sims because your Sims are constantly brewing coffee. Like, it's like they're addicted, which I mean, I guess props for realism, but that's like, there's only so many times that I can empty the coffee pot before I lose my mind, because it's just, there's just this constant state of like green smelly aura coming from the coffee pot because my Sims make it all the time, and then we'll drink one cup and forget about it, and then I'm left with a stinky coffee pot that somehow becomes my responsibility to clean up. I say that like it's a hard thing to fix, but it's really not. Yeah, so that's my little spiel about the coffee machines in the game. So I like it for the vibes, but if you want it to be functional, just put it on like a counter. But anyways, I have now moved on into the dining room of this household, which ends up being like this cute little small room. I use the table and chairs from Cats and Dogs, and then, you know, a couple of different plants. I have these curtains, which are from cottage living. I was going to say city living, but that is not correct. And then I've added this little kind of side table. It's base game that has like these little books in a basket below it against the window, just to kind of fill in the space a little bit more. And then I've put a couple of different clutter items on top of that, like some old birthday cards, just some little wicker baskets, a little bit of craft supplies. And then I've also done this trick, which I've been doing a lot in my builds recently, is I take these pots, which we got from the Jungle Adventure pack, and I usually put them in a more neutral swatch, and then I will take in some plants that we have and merge it with the pots, so it kind of gives plants that I might have used in other areas of the build like a bit of a different look, so it doesn't look so repetitive, but I can keep kind of using the plants that I want to use without the baskets always being the same exact style or color, I guess. And so that's kind of my little life hack for that. But yeah, those pots are like heaven sent from the Jungle Adventure pack. And then yeah, on top of the table I put like this little napkin and utensil holder with a couple of different, like, I don't know, like ketchup and salt and things like that, which is from Horse Ranch. And then I also put the collection of mugs, the little 3 set of mugs that we got from the Everyday Clutter kit. And yeah, I think that kind of sums it up for the dining room. I just wanted it, again, to feel pretty like lived in and, you know, like a cozy maximalist family home kind of vibe, if you will. That was a lot of descriptors, but I mean, you will have seen it. You kind of understand the idea without me needing to use 10 million words to describe like the dining table. But anyways, I've moved on into the laundry room now, and I'm just coming around and cluttering up the tops of the laundry machine. I put some laundry detergent and stacks of shirts and these little wicker baskets that look like they have like towels in them, which came from the Dream Home Decorator pack. And then also just some like little debug items like some sunscreen, a water bottle, just kind of random things, because this is a laundry room, but I also feel like it's kind of the mud room of the household. So like when you come in, like I feel like sometimes they might come in from the side and just drop some stuff in here. And then I put this little, I thought I was going to put this collection of like little wooden planks and boxes kind of things on the wall, which is from Parenthood, but I ended up replacing it with this little wall item that we got from the Everyday Clutter kit that's got like the fishing rod and then the portrait of the Sim there. Yeah, so that's kind of what's in the living room. And then I put like just some more laundry to clutter with like these little baskets, and then I also put the like cleaning supplies bucket and some of the dog food and some little plastic boxes that we got from Dream Home Decorator as well, you know, a broom. And I also put in that like curfew board which we got from Parenthood, which is pretty much this item where you can set like a curfew for your Sims. Say you want like your teen Sims or kid Sims to be home by, I don't know, 8 p.m. or like asleep by 8 p.m. You can set that on the board, and then if your Sims aren't, they will actually lose responsibility, which is a super cool feature and I very much enjoy it. So I put that in there as well because I think maybe with the plot of the teenage daughter being a bit more rebellious, like she's probably losing responsibility a lot when it comes to like that curfew board, whereas the son is probably always on time and, you know, sticks to the curfew. And yeah, that was kind of the thinking for that. And now I have moved on into the very first bathroom of this household. This bathroom I made for, well, it's like a main bathroom, but also the primary bathroom for the youngest kid in this household, so the son. It just kind of worked out that way because his room ends up being right off of the living room, which is where this bathroom is. Like the bathroom is right off of the living room as well. And so I figured instead of him like going all the way upstairs, like he kind of uses this one, because this actually ends up being a 3-bathroom household. So the parents have their own bathroom, the daughter has her own bathroom, and then I guess the son has his own bathroom. Though this also gets used by like guests and visitors because it's on the main floor. But yeah, I tried to add like a couple of different touches that could, you know, resemble the fact that it is like the son's bathroom primarily. So I put this mirror from high school years, which has a bunch of little different stickers on it, which I thought was so cute. And I put this bath mat, which I also think is from high school years, if I'm remembering correctly. This bath mat really reminds me of like a duvet cover that my brother used to have, which is kind of odd, but I think since it's like a bath mat, but I think it just works so well in this house because I don't know, like I can envision it as my brother's old duvet cover when he was younger, so I feel like it just works kind of perfect, and just really made it feel like a sim for, you know, a young kid. So I did that, and then I was also playing around with adding some other wall decals and things like that, but I felt like they looked a little bit tacky, so I ended up just going with like this little height measurer, height scale, you know, where like your Sims could like stand up and measure where their height is at if they're growing. I think he's long since passed this, but maybe when he was a little bit younger he still, you know, fit, because I think this is maybe a bit more for a toddler's height, but yeah. And then I added like the little elephant picture, and then there's also like a shower in there and a sink and this little like toiletry cupboard. But now that I have finished the bathroom, I have moved on into the first bedroom, which is for the youngest sim in this house, which once again is the youngest son or the stepson or the stepbrother, depends on which sim you're relating him to. But I gave him this bed from Parenthood, which I just thought was so cute. I went for a orange and blue color scheme because I don't know, it just kind of worked out that way. There was a lot of different furniture pieces that I wanted to use that was in this swatch, so it kind of worked out perfectly. I always love using this bed from Parenthood. I just think it's really pretty. I really like the wood swatch, and just kind of the whole vibe of it I just think is really accurate to, you know, maybe a bit more of a sophisticated kind of kid, because it doesn't have like too crazy of a pattern or like imagery or anything. It's pretty simple, but like the colors are still bold, so it still feels a bit youthful, so ended up going with that. And then I also put this base game like building table. It's kind of like a Lego table but in The Sims, but I felt like this kid's pretty into like architecture along with science. Maybe he likes to build rocket ships out of Lego, and maybe it's his dream one day to become an astronaut and build a rocket ship in real life, which honestly is possible in The Sims. So that could be a fun little thing to play out and to kind of push that astronaut theme and idea of that being like his dream career. I put this little stack of magazines that we got from the Everyday Clutter kit, and it comes in this swatch that has like the little astronaut, which you can see on the corner now. Yeah, so maybe he just really loves space and was reading up on astronauts and then decided that that's gonna be him one day, and it very well could be. And then yeah, I put in like this backpack, which we got a whole bunch of new swatches with the high school years pack. I can't remember if they're base game now as well, or if it's just with high school years, but I have a feeling it's probably base game because the backpack item itself is base game, and so it seems kind of goofy to, you know, make swatches for it for a pack when the item doesn't even go with that pack. But you guys can let me know if I'm wrong with that. And yeah, I put this little collection of like medals and ribbons because I think maybe he wins a lot of science fairs, or at the assemblies he wins a lot of awards and things like that. Yeah, I think there are a lot of academic achievements, not so much like athletic accomplishments or things like that. So I gave him those, and then just a couple of different clutter items around, and I gave him some orange curtains, which are just base game, and the desk is base game. Pretty sure the chair is base game as well. And yeah, that will kind of sum up his room now. I'm just quickly doing the landing area of this house, so I literally just put like a rug, which we got from Seasons. I want to say it's Seasons. I'm pretty sure it's Seasons. It's like this long runner rug. I've been using this swatch a lot. I literally just used it in the long play that I've been filming, which may or may not be up before this video. I'm not entirely sure, but yeah, I I've discovered the swatch, and I'm needless to say like addicted to it because I think it's just such a good like family house rug. So I put that in there, and then also just this vase of like dead sticks, fluffy dead sticks, which I think we got from the Dream Home Decorator pack. I just put that in the corner along with some light switches to, you know, make it feel like decorated, I guess, but nothing too crazy. It's just still like an average hallway. But now I have moved on into the second bathroom, which is for the parents. So I use the same tile and wallpaper for all of these bathrooms, and on the top floor I think I use the same cabinets as well. I use these like cabinets as in countertops. I use these countertops which we got from Parenthood. Yeah, which honestly, these are a close second to one of my favorite countertops aside from the base game ones, because they look exactly like the countertops that I had at my old house. Again, so nostalgic, but yeah, they look exactly like that. So again, they're just kind of very realistic to me, to what I would see in a family home. And so I put those in the bathroom just with like this base game sink, and then just a toilet and a shower. And I put some sconces on the wall, which I thought was super cute. I always really like adding sconces into bathrooms recently. I'm not so sure why. I don't really have sconces in my bathroom, but I just feel like the glow that sconces give is really beautiful. And I know you can change the lighting of whichever light you use in The Sims. Like there's an option to change the color and whatnot, but sometimes you just can't mimic the glow of like what the light is already set at. If that makes sense. Like even if I put the subtle saucer light on a yellow swatch, it doesn't always communicate the glow the same way the sconce does. So I just really like adding the sconces, and that's my very long spiel about sconces. Anyways, yeah, you will have seen that I just cluttered up the countertops. Nothing too crazy or out of the ordinary, just like little vials and perfume bottles, maybe a couple of different lotions or body soaps. And I kept it pretty clean because I wanted, or I guess organized, because I wanted it to be read as the parents' bathroom, even though like you can see that it's kind of like a master, so it's right off of their bedroom. No one else has access to it. So immediately it's kind of read as the parents' bathroom, at least in my mind. But, you know, I wanted to push that a little bit more with the decor as well. And then you will have seen that I just finished up the teenage daughter's bathroom. So she gets her own bathroom. And again, like same counters, wallpapers, towel, and everything. I just switched up the clutter items. So I did like these little lipstick tubes and like a bit more makeup items. And I put in like this little skinny mirror right beside the window. And I think that that's probably where she does her makeup sometimes, although she can also do it in her room because she has a really nice desk for that. But yeah, I put that little mirror there so she gets some really beautiful bathroom lighting, and like a little pink rug. And yeah, I just tried to make it feel like the bathroom suited her. I wanted all these bathrooms to feel like they had a particular sim living in there. I wanted it to feel generic in the foundation of it with like the counters and the wallpapers and whatnot, and then, you know, give it personality with the clutter items, because I think that that's pretty standard for a family house. At least like you don't get to, you know, change the wallpaper or the flooring for your bathroom. So I just tried to push it with whatever decor items that I could. And yeah, so I finished up her bathroom, and now I'm onto the parents' bedroom. So I'm using this bed, which is from high school years actually, and just in this like very light wood swatch, with like this white pinstripe gingham kind of bed cover. I can't remember if I changed the bed to something a bit warmer, but this is what I have right now. And then I have the matching high school years bedside tables. This whole collection of furniture with high school years, like this bedside table, and there's also a coffee table maybe, or a dresser in this kind of style. I'm not sure how you would describe it, but it's like with the drawers that kind of like slide into it, like they're slidey doors instead of one you pull out, or at least that's what it looks like to me. And I know I have furniture like that, so I just thought that these were like super cute items, and they just look so nice. And then I also put like a rug, which we got from Werewolves, which I think is just like a really good like family rug, kind of like an older looking one, but I think it still fits. And then I also used this chair from Cats and Dogs, and then the cottage living dresser, and then a couple of different clutter items there. and this little cute radio that we got from Horse Ranch, which looks very like vintage and old, and I just thought that that one was super cute, so I decided to throw that in there as well, and then like a couple of different plants, and that wraps up their room. So now I have moved on into the last room of this house, which ends up being the teenage daughter's room. And if it looks like I was having a really easy time making all of these decisions and whatnot, excuse me, don't be fooled, it was not easy. I definitely pre-planned this out because I really just came in and started messing around with like pretty much every single high school year's item that we had, and this room is essentially just a showcase for all those items and like cream and pink swatches to push that clean girl aesthetic. But yeah, I kind of like pre-planned it, so if it looks like I'm having like a super easy time and just kind of put things down and they work instantly, just know that there was a lot of trial and error that I just didn't include in footage. But I'm thinking that since she's kind of like wealthy, at least on her mom's side, I think her room is sponsored by her mother. She gets a lot of like her nice furniture and stuff from her mom, so she has a TV in her room, which is actually bigger than the one in like the living room, which I think is courtesy of her mom. I think maybe her dad allowed it, but I don't think the stepmom really likes that she has like that big TV in her room, because she probably feels like that's a little extreme for like a teenage girl. But I think I love it, and I think it's super good for the storyline. And then I also have this little makeup table for her. It's not functional. This light is from the Everyday Clutter kit. It's like it's classified as a light, but it looks like a mirror with a ring light around it, and then a couple of different like barrettes and things like that. And then I put that on top of the Jungle Adventure side table, and I used an ottoman from City Living, and then I just cluttered it up with like some different makeup items. So while it's not functional, it certainly looks cute, and I think it works for her character and whatnot. And then I used a desk from high school years, and a chair from high school years, and a mirror from high school years, and the bed is from Horse Ranch actually, but the little couch that is at the end of the bed is from high school years. And then take a guess on what I'm using right now. High school years again. So I'm using this little like clothing rack and these cube items. We got this kind of modular piece set from Dream Home Decorator, but then they kind of incorporated it into high school years as well with like a bit of a different vibe to it. So I used this in white, and I just cluttered it up with pretty much any item I could find. A lot of everyday clutter and high school years are used in the furnishing of this little modular built-in. And then yeah, everything's just kind of in like a very light and airy swatch, because again, I was going for kind of that clean girl aesthetic. And on her desk, I end up putting, I think there's a laptop on there, and there's like this aura light, if I'm remembering correctly, and just kind of like anything she might need to be like an influencer, I guess. So the Simfluencer is actually like a career that your Sims can have, and so that's definitely one that she has. And so that's kind of what I was trying to communicate with this, just the whole decorating and everything. And on the left side of her room, like where all the windows are, she can get out of those and climb out onto her balcony. And yeah, so I use these little makeup items that we got from high school years. It comes with like this little ceramic vase to hold like the brushes, and then this little shell plate that holds like your jewelry, that also has like a jewelry box and like a makeup compact. That whole item in and of itself is so cute, and I thought was so perfect for this little clean girl aesthetic that I was going for. And then I also use like this jewelry rack, which I think is either high school years or Horse Ranch. Honestly, I'm not too sure. But then yeah, I used the headphones from Everyday Clutter and this little speaker item from Everyday Clutter. And yeah, there's not too much more to the build. I'm just going to go around and finish decorating the desk and her side tables, and that's pretty much it. So I want to thank you guys so much for watching. If you have any comments, suggestions, things you want to see me build, make sure to leave it in the comments below. And if you want to download this build off of the gallery, you can find it with the hashtag aluhhsim or aluhhsim YouTube, or you can just look in the description for all the details or my end card. But I'm gonna go ahead and leave you guys here, and I hope you enjoy the last little bits of furnishing, and I hopefully will see you all in my next speed building video. Bye guys!